morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Just me today. Joe Jaquin solo. Jason will be off today, but don't worry. He should be back tomorrow. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Oh, it's going to get hot. Not that it already isn't hot, but it's going to get, summertime hot here in the Valley of the Sun. Hopefully some of you will be able to get the heck out of town. I will say this, the one thing that's nice about summertime, man, the freeways are empty. It's almost scary sometimes when you think about where did all the people go? The snowbirds are gone. Everybody's trying to get out of the heat. It's kind of nice. Of course, rush hour still sucks, but I'm never driving around that time, so it doesn't matter to me. Our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. The website at allamericangold.com. And, man, just another big week. It seems like every week's a big week. The big, beautiful bill. Boy, it's going to be expensive. It's we got to have the drama, the made-for-TV stuff, but it's going to pass the Senate. And they're going to play games. And I think, the Democrats, we're going to read the whole bill. And it's just kind of funny because it's like everybody knows they don't really know what the hell is in these things. But they're going to read it all. They're going to have votes today, maybe tomorrow. And just little things. It doesn't really affect anything other than, let's take, for instance, the Democrats. They're going to force the Republicans to vote on cutting Medicare and Medicaid, right? They're going to make them say it, right? There's going to be some Republicans that are going to put an amendment in there that lets their constituents know, hey, I didn't like this, right? Let me tell you which part of the sandwich I didn't want to eat, but I ate it anyway. And then ultimately, it's going to go back to the House. And again, this has been the plan all along, right? Spend more money and lots of it. And I know, listen, there's a lot of people, they want to believe. And I get it. Because what else are you going to do? Right? That this time, it's going to be different. Right? That we're going to cut taxes, spend more money, and grow our way out of debt. And, you even hear, people with no credibility on the television trying to tell you that somehow the debt will go down, right? No. That's just idiotic. Because let's face it, if that was true, we would have already done it. But nonetheless, this is where we're at. Here's what's interesting about where we're at. You have Wall Street at an all-time high. We do. We have a president who is openly saying how dumb our central bank is. Has already said now, whoever he puts on the bank, the central bank, they have to be pro-rate cuts, right? So, and Donald Trump has now put a number on it. He wants the Fed's funds rate to go down to 1%. See what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. But yet, stocks are at an all-time high. Weird. I could get it. And if stocks were struggling, let's say the Dow, I don't know, say it was 20-some thousand. Okay. Maybe. But see, we can't do that anymore. That's really, truly the problem. I'm not even saying Donald Trump's wrong. I think he's right about going to 1%. I do. Because It's not going to work, but it's like the only shot we got, right? Try to grow our way out of it. And I just think it's a great setup for gold and silver, obviously. But again, other things, though, like Zoran Mamdani. He is the Democratic nominee for the mayor of New York City. You know, we're getting more and more extremism on both sides. This guy was on Meet the Press this weekend. Now, I'll be honest, I don't really watch Meet the Press, but very interesting what he had to say. I don't think we should have billionaires because, frankly, it's so much money in a moment of such inequality, and ultimately what we need more of is equality across the cities, across the state, across the country. What does that mean? Government's coming to take it. We'll be 800-951-0592. And I go, oh, my, that guy from New York. Who cares what he says? Oh, everybody better get ready. Let's just take a quick look at the markets. The Dow's up 150. The S&P's up 8. The NASDAQ's up 27. So, you know, pretty calm, pretty tame. The 10-year note, pretty calm, pretty tame. 427. Crude oil, pretty calm, pretty tame. Here, there's kind of a theme here, right around $65. Gold's up 13. 32.88. By the way, wait till you see today's special. You thought Friday's was great. Today's equally. Silver down 5 cents. Kind of hanging out here. 35.87. But Mamdani was, like I said, he was on Meet the Press. This guy is very good on social media. He is a Muslim. Not that I don't know that matters or not, but it's worth noting. Won handily over Cuomo to get the nominee. And then has been out there just openly saying, hey, I don't think we should have any billionaires. And here's the reason why I think this is important for most people. He's letting you know what's coming. Because we're going to get more of this. A lot more of this. You know, you think about Colorado, which has become a liberal haven, right? You think about Arizona, right? Arizona, right? We let's face it, we're still hoping to stay somewhat conservative, but when you look, we've got Democratic senators, we've got the mayor of Phoenix as a Democrat, right? It's slowly slipping away. You will see this continue. And by the way, the Trump plan, which again, I want to highlight, there was no good choice. This one is just as bad as all the other choices. However, by going with the, I'll call this the easiest way out, we'll tell people that we can cut taxes, spend trillions of dollars and more money, and we're going to grow our way out. It's nonsense. And why do I say it's nonsense? Well, ever since we closed the gold window in 1971, remember the debt in 1971 was $400 billion. That's worth noting because it wasn't very much. The majority of that had been left over from World War II. Most people don't know because the history, God, they do such a bad job of educating our kids. But again, history's written by the winners. So why would the banks, especially the central bank, want our kids to know what a horrible job they've done? Right? A matter of fact, they try to teach the exact opposite. Here's what's funny. We ran as many budget surpluses as we did budget deficits after World War II all the way to 1971. It's true. We had trade surpluses. It's also true. I think maybe the best thing Trump has done so far is probably the tariffs, at least as far as revenue goes, right? We're going to get like $80 billion, something like that. Let's call it high side 100, low side 60, depending on how these deals go. But that's at least a good chunk of money. And I say it's good only for the money part, right? Who knows if it's actually good or not? I don't know. But we are sitting at a time where now people are voting for people that come out and say we should have no billionaires. Let's tax success. Now, of course, you're like, well, wait a minute. Donald Trump just, extended the tax cuts. He did. Think it'll be the last tax cut. Maybe we'll see it for a long time. And what I mean by that, we may see more bottom end cuts. We'll never see, I don't think, wealthy tax cuts again. Instead, we'll have this. The government can't help it. And it's interesting to think about, wait a minute, I want to punish success. And simply by saying, well, things should be equal. It sounds good, doesn't it, until you really think about it. Right? The best scenario I can give you, let's take school, which I just said does a horrible job educating our kids, because they do. But imagine that you have a very gifted student, and they do very well at school. They get all A's. Then you have, a neighbor kid. It's kind of a screw up. Doesn't really apply himself. Doesn't work real hard. In trouble all the time. And he's a very poor student. And the school goes, this just isn't equal. Look we've got just a handful of these really smart, bright kids that do their homework, are disciplined, they're engaged. Good kids. But there's not that many of them. And then we got a bunch that are kind of in the middle. Right? They're not good. They're not bad. They do okay. And then, of course, you got the few, and I say the few, down at the bottom. And they decide to call that inequality. It's just not equal. It's not fair. But why? They all go to the same school. They have the same teachers. But we don't have the same results. Well, guess what? You know what? I know how to fix it. We'll take all the really good students, all these A's, we'll take them away. We'll tax it away. We'll punish them. And we'll take their A's to B's. And we'll give all the ones that got D's, because they don't give anyone F's anymore, right? I mean, we know that. I mean, if you just show up and put your name on the paper, they'll give you a D. We'll give them all C's. See, and now look it. Now it's equal. Everybody's got B's and C's. Just think about that. How do you think that goes? I don't know. Over a course of a decade. What do you think happens? Honestly. And I think everybody would agree. Well, chances are the majority of the kids that work really hard aren't going to work as hard anymore. Some will just because, but we know that's very few and far between. And we end up with mediocrity. This is where the United States is heading. How do you think all the quote-unquote superpowers that came before us, how do you think they ended up in mediocrity? And it's really twofold. Number one, it's the bankers, right? Creating money out of thin air. Somehow telling us that inflation isn't theft. Matter of fact, now they tell us that a little inflation's just fine. Somehow 2%'s just the right number. Yeah. Right? Apparently they did the Goldilocks, right? Over 2%, that's a little hot. And if it's under, well, that one's just too cold. And, 2%, that's just right. Why should there be any inflation? Any? There shouldn't be. Right? $20 gold piece, $20 gold piece. A cow's a cow. Shouldn't be. But yet, here we are. And then they try to tell us that it's not their fault that they have it. And that they're trying to, help us. And then they start blaming things. It's inequality. Inequality. What does that mean? Inequality. Well, they want to have an excuse as to why some are successful and some are not. Well, they grew up poor, or they went to the wrong school, or they were the wrong color, or they were, and the list goes on and on and on. And yet, we see thousands of examples. I don't care, white, black, Mexican, brown, yellow, Asian, whatever. There's billionaires everywhere. And this isn't, I don't want to defend the billionaires. But the reality is taking away from success to reward anything and try to call that equality. That's not equality. It's the exact opposite of equality. And now we have, and you think about it, New York City, I don't care who you are, it's an important city. Whether you want to admit it or not, it is, especially globally. And you have a guy going out there that has a very good chance at being the mayor, saying in the name of equality, we need to take from success to give to failure. Well, it leads to 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Here on this Monday, again, gold up $13, $32.88. Today's special, it's awesome. Mint State 63 St. Gaudens, $34.25. You heard me right, $34.25. In an ungraded Saint right now, it's $3,400. So for another $25, you up like, I don't even know what is that, like 10 grades. You got XF, VF, AU, BU, Mint State 60, Mint State 61, Mint State 62, or then Mint State 63. For those of you out there, you know, there are some out there, and I get it. Hey, how do I know? How do I know that this really is gold? Well, these have been authenticated by PCGS and NGC. They are world-renowned grading services. If you collect things like sports memorabilia, baseball cards, autographs, all that, they authenticate. That's what they do. And they are the two best in the industry. I have the first person to buy 10 of them. So they're $34.25 a piece for a Mint State 63 $20 St. Gaudens. If you buy 10, it's $34,250. If we have to ship to you, we'll throw in the shipping, which is, that saves $35. Plus, I have one 100-gram silver bar that, that break, we've been selling them, like 10 at a time. They break into 1 gram silver bars, but I have one. It's like a big credit card. First person to buy 10 also gets the last 100-gram silver bar at 800-951-0592. Very quickly, because we're going to spend more time on the half-empty cup on this. I don't think that most people are aware that the BRICS summit is going to be here, this time next week? Yeah. Yep. Matter of fact, Brazil, who holds the chair this year for BRICS, by the way, it's July 6th through the 8th, so right after the 4th of July holiday. Something very interesting is afoot here. Mexico, Colombia, and Uruguay are expected to join. We'll see. I know Mexico has not formally joined, but they've received this invitation, which we know with BRICS, the countries that get these invitations are the ones that they usually will extend offers to join. Obviously, Mexico being the most important one of this group. And the president said, and this is the Brazilian president, it is important that these countries participate because it's time to have a debate with the whole world. BRICS represents over half the world's population and GDP, and we are openly courting Mexico as a strategic partner. Now, Mexico, they're not real happy, obviously, with the Trump policies, and say that Trump speaks to them like they are hotel maids at a Trump hotel. Now, I don't know, probably, right? Probably. But why do I bring it up? First, I don't think they would extend the offer, this invite, if they thought Mexico was going to say no. That's just my opinion on it. Mexico also wants to what? They want to take over the mining industry. They've already taken over the oil industry in Mexico. And they want to do the same. And of course, as I told you, Mexico what? They are the largest silver producer in the world. And it's not even close. Russia is now saying that they will supply all the natural gas that Mexico needs. Which is interesting because it's one of the things Mexico buys a lot of from us. So we'll wait and see. But, like I said, I think this would be big. This would be very newsworthy. And we're going to find out, right, next week. We're going to know. We're going to know after next week. Did Mexico go BRICS? Here's what else is on tap. That China may be getting ready to launch its first major attempt to have the renminbi be a major part of the global currency. I'll tell you about it next. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour on this Monday. A huge special. Mint State 63 Saints. PCGS and NGC verified. $170 off. $3,425. I mean, you got gold at $3,290. Like $135 over. By the way, like an AU. Remember the AUs? We had those on sale the other day, Friday, at $33.95. Right? Well, they're $35.60. Now you go all the way up to a Mint State 63. And what are you paying? $5 a grade, something like that. I mean, it's peanuts, nothing. $34.25. Huge opportunity. I mean, think about it. Gold's been over 34.25 a bunch of times this year. The first one to buy 10 of them. $34,250. You're going to get free shipping if we ship. And you're going to get the 101 gram silver credit card, which you can break off individual grams, all for $34.25. 800-951-0592. Remember, to get the free shipping, to get the credit card, you got to buy 10. $34,250. But you can just buy 1, 5, however many you'd like at 800-951-0592. One of the things that they are saying is going to be on the docket in Brazil next week. China getting serious about globalizing the renminbi. Now, they made some comments last week about the digital renminbi and wanting to use more of it in trade. And, of course, they want it to be digital so it's fast, right? That's kind of the thing. Rumors circulating again that they may use gold to do it. And give these emerging markets an opportunity to sidestep the IMF and what they call infected dollar debt. Now, we'll see. See what's here. But they say, word out of Brazil, this is going to be on the docket, and that China is preparing to back the trade with gold. What does that mean? Well, that just simply means at any time, if you're unhappy with your renminbi, you can say, give me gold instead. Right? Remember, that's what foreigners were allowed to do with the United States when they purchased treasuries. Up until when? 1971. When we closed the gold window and said, nope, you can only get dollars. If this happens, and I will say this, I do believe China is going to make a play for more use of the renminbi. That makes sense. Right? The United States is a little vulnerable right now. The gold thing. God, we talked about it for a long time. Everybody and their mother knows China has way more gold than what they say. I don't know. I know that on the half-empty cup, we are going to dive more into this. By the way, something that is definitely going to be on the docket, China plans to build overseas gold vaults to expand the Shanghai exchange power. My guess are going to be in BRICS countries, right? That just would make sense. So Belt and Road, we're going to talk that. And then, of course, remember we talked about the M Bridge, which was a fancy way of kind of saying SWIFT. Looks like they are going to launch something even better called BRICS Pay, along with the Bank of International Settlement. So all of that coming up on the half-empty cup. But you understand what the agenda is. What does this agenda sound like to you guys? hey, we want to use the renminbi more. We've got an alternative to BRICS. We're going to build gold vaults throughout the world. Right? They've already stated they want Shanghai to be the place where the metals prices get set. Who is all of this coming after? I think you understand who it is. It's us. And now we're trying to elect people that say, let's just take all the money from the billionaires in the name of equality. I hope you have gold put away. Let me tell you right now, I want people to understand this. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. No matter what they tell you. Mid-State 63 Saints 3425 at 800-951-0592. Final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. Remember, we got the big BRICS update coming on the half-empty cup right after this show. Mint State 63 $20 gold pieces. Mint State 63 $20 Saints. I want to be clear on the $20 Saints. 34.25. The first one to buy 10. You're going to get free shipping if we ship to you, and anybody will get the first one that buys 10, the 100-gram breakable into 1 gram silver bar at 800-951-0592. By the way, text it. Man, what a week. Last week, the third biggest week in Texit history as far as new signups go. We're already off to a big start this week. If you haven't signed up yet, get it done. Remember, you can sign up for as little as $9.95, right? The max, as you guys know this, the maximum, $8,955. That's 9 mining shares. When you buy 9 mining shares, they'll give you 2 mining shares for free. What does that mean? Well, you just get more coins every day. If you buy 5 mining shares, you get a 6th one for free. So they got 2 good incentives. The more miners that sign up, the less seats there's going to be. And once we hit that 100 million mega hash, the mine will close. What does that mean? Can't be a miner anymore, right? All you can do is buy the coin out on the open market. By the way, we will have a meeting in Phoenix. I will announce when that's going to be sometime later this week. But it will be in like 2.5 weeks from now, give or take. And I'll have all of that worked out. Anybody is welcome to attend. If you want to ask questions, learn more about how to use your coins, how to sell, how to buy. We'll do all that at the meeting. For those of you that are already members now, you can buy Texit coins right on your dashboard now. They've set that up for you guys to do. We'll go over that at the meeting as well. If you want to sign up somebody under you, we're doing a lot of that, a lot more of that now. The sooner you sign up, the sooner you start getting coins. And I will say this, the path looks very, very bright. We're going to hit 8,000 miners today or tomorrow, which is just amazing. And again, like I said, this last week was the third biggest week ever. Right? We had 2 big weeks. Remember the last promotion that was coming to an end? We almost took those out. Momentum continues to build. Listen, look at what China's talking about. Digital renminbis, right? It's going to be a digital world. We all need to learn how to play in it. And hey, who knows? Is Texit gonna be the next Bitcoin, a Bitcoin redo? Some people think so. I like the chances. Call us for the big win, 800